Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this video, we are going to be doing part 2 of our San Diego Comic-Con 2019 Reveal Roundup. I just named it that, that's not actually what it's called. So if you guys didn't see part 1, go ahead and check that out, but I'll go ahead and explain it again. Obviously, I didn't go to Comic-Con again this year, I couldn't get a hotel, but Toy Ark does a good job of coverage, so I'm using their photos just so we can talk about the figures. All credit goes to them. I can't talk about every figure because there's just too many. So if I didn't cover something in the last video, hopefully I get it here today if you wanted to see it. These are kind of like just my highlights, the ones I prefer to talk about, but I did pick some that you guys might be interested in that I'm not particularly interested in, just so that I could make you guys happy, because that's what well, that's not what I'm here for, but it's nice when I can do it. So anyway, let's go ahead and dive into some of the reveals, and we'll talk about them. First thing I want to talk about isn't actually a reveal. This is the SH Figuarts Vega from Street Fighter, and I just want to talk about it briefly because it looked really, really good in all of the early photos, and it still does look really, really good. The only real problem I'm having with this guy so far, yes, he has big hands and stuff, it's supposed to be that way, but the problem I'm having with this guy is the way they're handling the stripe at the thigh swivel. They should not have made the thigh swivel so separated from the hip joint if they're going to have that stripe, which they knew they were going to have. Poor design choice, but hopefully it's not a big deal because the figure does look really good otherwise. Next up, we're going to look at the SH Figuarts Mastered Ultra Instinct Goku, which so many people are so excited for and so many people are so crazily upset about. And they're mostly upset because the hair isn't even close to accurate, and that's a valid complaint. But do remember when they showed Broly off originally, the new Broly, he was vastly different than he turned out to be. Yeah, his feet stayed big, but they did change his shoulders and stuff, so it's possible that this guy ends up being changed as well. There are also some pretty heavy complaints about the anatomy and proportions on this guy. I don't know if it's as big a deal as some people are making it out to be, but again, remember, it could change, so it's unlikely that it won't be better. It will probably be better when it finally releases, so fingers crossed for that. And that was it for Dragon Ball showings, unfortunately. Everything else was already shown, so that's kind of a bummer. Moving on. Mattel showed off some new Batman stuff, which is kind of interesting in that Batman stuff's always cool. Not always, as is evidenced here. Well, not here yet. Red Hood looks okay. This is a new Red Hood figure, and it looks alright. It's probably not the Red Hood figure most people want, as far as character design goes, but it looks like it has some potential, so I'm a little bit excited about that. But this Batman figure that they showed behind him is one of the more popular Batman designs, with the gray and the dark blue with just the black logo on his chest. Lots of people really, really like this. However, look how absolutely terrible this figure looks. The torso is narrower than the hips. The thighs don't even look, it's just the anatomy's a mess. I'm not even going to go into it anymore. The anatomy is gross. This figure looks awful. Then we have a new Robin figure. This isn't regular Robin, this is some other Robin. I'm not familiar with this Robin. They just keep changing up the different things, and I'm not keeping track of them. But this looks okay. His proportions are a little bit better. He looks better than Batman. Like, he has a bigger chest than Batman. That doesn't seem right. I don't know. He's got the colors of the Dick Grayson Robin. But that's not Dick Grayson, is it? Does Dick Grayson take back the Robin outfit after being Nightwing at some point in the comics? That'd be kind of cool. Anyway, moving on. This is another Batman figure which they showed, which... oh god, it's gross. It's so bad. Look at those proportions and the head sculpt. This is their DC Multiverse line, which is supposed to be in line with Marvel Legends. And even though Hasbro screws stuff up occasionally, this is like they're not even trying over here. I don't know what's going on with Mattel, but oh my goodness. Here's something I was kind of interested in. Katana. I've always liked the character. We don't have a figure of her that's worth a damn. So this will be kind of nice. It doesn't look terrible. But more importantly, who's the guy on the left? Is that like Bane doing cosplay? Or somebody doing cosplay as Bane but got it wrong? Who is that guy? I don't know who that is. DCUC straight up and down it looks like, so that's kind of cool. If you're into the DCUC line, it's kind of nice to have some throwbacks like that, but I don't know, man. I don't know who that guy is. And then we also have a Killer Croc, which, as far as I know, has never been released. If anybody has any info on this, this could be a new thing, which is a BAF in the DCM MV line. I don't know. He doesn't have a torso, though. He's kind of strange. Kind of strangely built, but he does look pretty cool, and I'd like to add him to my collection just for the S's and G's. But I don't know. I don't know about this DC Multiverse line. It looks like it's kind of a disaster. Next up, they showed a new Alfred figure, which is kind of cool. I know a lot of people would like to have a nice Alfred figure, and this one apparently comes with 4 different heads. It looks like we have 1 movie-based head, 2 comic-based heads, and then 1 which I have no idea that looks like Smeagol. I don't know what's up with that, but otherwise it's kind of cool to get an Alfred figure, so that's nice. And then they showed this Batman, which is apparently some kind of Wizard World exclusive, but it looks a lot like a DCUC Batman, so I kind of want to get it just to add to my DCUC collection, but it looks like he's got his cowl being removed, and that's kind of a cool feature, so that's nice, and that's about it. I just want to talk about some of these Batman releases, because I know a lot of you guys are like me, and you like Batman. Now moving on to the Marvel Legends, which I know a lot of you have been waiting for. I want to start with one, just kind of like Vega, where we've already seen this, but I want to talk about it briefly. If they release Colossus and he looks like this, it's gonna be so nice. So nice to have a very metallic, silver looking, shiny Colossus. Nice vibrant reds and yellows. Man, there's so much potential here. I so hope they don't screw it up. I'm gonna be so excited for that. So let's just cross our fingers and hope it comes out that way. Next thing I want to talk about briefly is this Deadpool 2-pack. Is anybody else just sick of the comical, no pun intended, Deadpool figures? Like, who wanted this? Did anybody want this? I don't get it. I don't understand it. It's almost all reused parts. Like, this entire thing is just a kit bash of existing parts for Hasbro to just make, like, hey, can we make some money without doing any work? Can we do that? Yeah, we can. Let's do that. No, I don't want this. Let me know if you want this, and then stop wanting it, because you shouldn't, and it's just like free money for Hasbro on a garbage release. So that kind of blows. Moving on. Finally, we have Big Body Little Legs Man, and I've actually wanted this guy for a long time, like since the beginning, back when Baffs used to be big and baffy. That's how long I've wanted this guy. I've always liked this guy, and this is obviously just a render, so it's not gonna probably look exactly like this. Like, this is all CGI right here, in case you guys weren't aware, but it looks great, and if it has anywhere near this kind of finish once it's done, it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be great. To have Strong Guy, it's something I've wanted for a long time, so I'm going to be very, very happy with this. And it looks like minimal elbow range, shoulders should be fine, torso should be great, legs should be normal, so it should actually be a really posable figure, and I'm psyched. I love it. I can't wait for it. It's going to be great. It might not be. I hope it is. Next thing they showed that I want to talk about is Cosmic Ghost Rider and Squirrel Girl. I'm not sure anybody really needed any of these, but Cosmic Ghost Rider looks pretty cool, except for the hamster ball for the front of his bike. That's not great, but the figure itself looks alright. And then Squirrel Girl is basically Deadpool Scooter with Squirrel Girl, which is fitting for the character, I suppose. I don't know. She's one of those characters that I don't think many people really care about, but I know some people do really care about it, so I guess that's fine that they're making her. It's not going to hurt to add her to, what is she, the Great Lakes Avengers, part of that team? I think she is. I can't remember now. But, I don't know. I couldn't care less, but what the hell? It's not a bad thing. It's a new character, so that's fine. It's not like a Deadpool, another Deadpool. I'm sick of those. Next thing. Oh my gosh, this awesome 3-pack is probably going to be the 3-pack to end all 3-packs. Cyclops with his jacket. Questionable jacket choices because the arms may not match the jacket very well, but we will see. We are going to get new heads though, and these heads will work with existing Cyclops because the torso should be the same, which means the neck should be the same, which means the head should be the same. And so if you already have a Cyclops, this is basically like an accessory pack for him. And then we have Wolverine, another accessory pack. Looks like it's basically our standard Tiger Stripe Wolverine, but now we have the option for the bone claws. Some people hate them. I think it's a cool addition. We have the Andy Serkis head, so that's kind of a nice addition if you really wanted that. We have what appears to be the same released head as before with the ears pulled out a little bit farther, but then we also have the quasi battle damage head with kind of a cool face sculpt, so that's kind of nice. And then the big ticket item here is Jean Grey with both her comic hair and her cartoon hair. And oh my goodness, it looks great. It looks lovely. I'm very pleased to have the cartoon hair because I grew up on that cartoon, but that comic hair looks great too. All around, I think this is a winner of basically a bunch of reissues but with new accessories. That's the way to do it right there. I actually want all of those a lot. Give them to me now. Next thing is Polaris and Havoc. More X-Men, more happy from me. I think they look pretty good overall in concept. Lots of bubbles going on here. I don't think those bubbles suit Havoc very well. Polaris, I'll give her a break, but Havoc, questionable. This is my preferred look for Havoc. Can't English. This is my preferred look for Havoc, and I like it, except the face looks kind of janky. We'll see how it actually looks in production, but otherwise it looks like it should, so I'm psyched about that. Polaris, the hair, they did the curly thing. That's how she looks a lot of the time, so I'm okay with that. It's probably a little dense looking, I'd say. It looks a little bit like moss, but it still looks good enough. Her body looks good. Face is a little strange, but we'll see how it actually turns out. There are some things that could be an issue, but I'll reserve those for when she actually gets released. Next thing is not Havoc, but guy wearing a similar outfit. This is Nate Gray, and it looks like Nate Gray, so I guess that's good. Looks like another Bucky Cat build, another jacket, some tiny details added to him. I mean, that's what he's supposed to look like, so if you wanted a Nate Gray figure, there you go, you got him. I don't really care for him in particular as a character, but I don't have anything against him, so what the heck. More figures, why not? And then we get Morph, which is certainly not the Morph I think most people wanted. I'm pretty sure everybody's like, just freaking repaint every existing part you already have and make a new Morph head and give us Morph, and that's all we need. And Hasbro was like, nah, Deadpool. Repainted Deadpools is what you want, not Morph. And then they were like, yeah, but have this really other design Morph, really other design. And it looks really good. It does, honestly. Like, if you don't mind this version of Morph, this is going to be a great piece. It's going to be one of those ones that looks really good on a shelf. I like it. It looks like it's on a different body, a new body altogether. It looks like it to me, at least the torso. We'll see. It's kind of hard to tell with the way the paint job's on there, but the cape looks good, head looks good. I'm kind of psyched for it, even though it's not the Morph I want. It'll do. I mean, it won't do. It'll be a different spot to fill, but it's still cool. And then we have Birdman, and he looks pretty good. No, honestly, this does look really good. As far as Vulture goes, this is what he's supposed to look like. Does anybody else want a young Vulture? I kind of want a young Vulture. Like, shouldn't we have one? I think we should by now. I'm happy with this, but we've got two really solid Vulture figures at this point that are her old man Vulture. I want a young one. Let me know if you agree. Like this video if you agree. I'm gonna start doing stuff like that. I'm not really gonna. So also we have to talk about Wolverine here. This is the AOA Wolverine with the sport connected to his arm, and it looks like it's supposed to for the most part. Though, obviously, not obviously, I think it's just the pose and the foreshortening here, even though it's very subtle. His head looks too damn big, and I get that the hair is supposed to be extra poofy and goofy looking because that's how he's drawn, but they made it look okay in 2D, but in 3D it looks really weird. So I'm kind of just curious to see how this turns out in real life. Hasbro tends to make heads too big in the first place, and then the amount of hair that would be required to actually make that work is just an absolutely absurd density amount of hair. Like, it's just crazy. So we'll see. It might look totally goofy, but it might look all right. It's going to be kind of hard to tell until we see the final production piece, but otherwise, I mean, it's all right to get more AOA stuff as far as I'm concerned. I've always liked that. And then we also have Shang-Chi, which is, I guess, I didn't know this until they showed this. Apparently a lot of people like Shang-Chi. I don't know why, because he's like the most generic character ever. Like the worst, most generic character ever. And I guess he's supposed to be like the best hand-to-hand fighter in all of the Marvel Universe. Alright, cool. You're still just a martial arts dude wearing bell bottoms. So I don't know. I mean, I guess this is cool. If you liked him, that's fine. If you didn't like him, well, you get a new character, so that's fine too. I don't have anything against it. I'm just amazed that there's so many people that are really into this character. So if you like Shang-Chi, go ahead and like this video. I'm gonna keep mixing those in there. I actually don't care. Anyway, moving on. Here we have the Armored Spider-Man Mark III, I think is what it's called. I don't remember. I've been asked to make this figure so many times, and I kept saying, nah, just wait, they're going to make it. Well, here you go. You're welcome. They made it. It looks like it's supposed to. Head looks a little big, but otherwise, it looks really solid. I don't know what's going on with that webbing right there. It's kind of a mess. But the figure itself looks good, so you're welcome to all the people who I did not let pay me to make a figure. There you go. And then we also get this one. I don't know what it's called, but it's from the game. Looks cool. I like it. It's looks more mechanical, kind of like an Iron Man suit, kind of, sort of, but not really. I don't know, it looks nice. And we'll see if they do a good paint job on it. If they do, it'll sell this figure for sure. If they don't, it'll ruin it. So we will see. Next one I want to talk about is She-Hulk. I have no idea what's going on here with the gray-green combo. I'm just not that familiar with She-Hulk's storyline at all. I'm pretty sure I know that she's a stripper. Is that a thing? That's a thing, right? I like to think that's a thing even if it's not, because She-Hulk has the curves. And this one does too. They're actually making her not look like a teenage boy, like most of the female figures they've been making lately. So that's pretty good. And the whole green and gray thing, if they paint it well, that's going to look really cool. I just have no idea what that's about, and I don't need to look it up to do a figure reveal, because what do you care if I know what it's about? I'm showing you the figure. You can see it. If you know what it's about, then you already know. And if you don't, well, if you cared, you'd probably already know. So there you go. Next one, Dr. Doom. One of the characters I've been saying needed a good figure since the beginning of time. I love Dr. Doom as a character, and I've wanted a good figure for him since the beginning of time. I just said that, aren't you listening? Anyway, this one looks pretty fantastic. By far better than all of the existing ones we've gotten. By far, it looks great. I'm a little concerned about their idea of how thick his hips and waist should be, because it should be narrower. He's got kind of a birthing hip situation. Like, his dress is as broad at the top as his chest is. So that's a little strange. And then, of course, because it flares out, he's got a very big lower half. Like, he's shaped like a pear rather than an upside down pear, because that's what superheroes are shaped like. So I don't know. I'm not thrilled with the size of his hips and ass area, but otherwise it looks fantastic. So I don't know. I'm really excited for it, and I hope that it doesn't stand out as much as it does, like in this photo. His ass area is just so big. I didn't expect to think it was that big even after I first saw it. I was like, yeah, it's kind of big, but now I'm looking at it. This guy's kind of thick. Moving on, we have Peggy Carter and Captain America in some, I guess, really important releases that people want to have. I don't know. Like, even if I was still collecting movie figures, I wouldn't want these two. Cap looks alright. Peggy, who cares? As far as I'm concerned. If you're interested, then it looks good. So, that's cool. Good for you. They're making it. They're also making Michael Peña's character, whose name is escaping me at the moment, but it looks really good. I may pick this one up just to have it. Even though I only collect the Iron Man stuff now, I really... Why can't I think of his name? Whatever. It's going to be a good one. It looks pretty good. Their faces are getting better and better, it seems, so that's kind of cool. They also showed Carl Urban's Executioner, and it looks fantastic. Like, one of the best ones that they've done. So I'm very excited for that, even though I'm not buying it. Like, I'm not going to collect the movie figures. I'm not getting back into it, but I'm excited for all of you guys, because this looks great. I know it wasn't a great version of Executioner in terms of the movie, but the figure looks really good, so that's cool. And then we also got Valkyrie. It looks really good. In some angles, the face looks a lot like, what's the lady that got beat up by Chris Brown's name? I don't know why it is, but this fever I have, I cannot remember names for the life of me. I can't remember her name. Chris Brown's ex-girlfriend, I think, is the best way to describe her. And I'm sure I'm going to offend people, but I don't know why. Anyway, it looks like her. Rihanna. It looks like Rihanna, but it also looks like Tess Thompson a little bit. So that's pretty cool. The figure looks good. That's cool. And next up, we have Heimdall. Probably not the Heimdall you were hoping for, but it is Heimdall. It does have a good likeness. It looks like it could be pretty cool, but figures with cloaks like that really can't be posed, so it's going to be kind of worthless, I think. I really want a Heimdall in armor. That would be fantastic, especially since they obviously have the likeness rights. But it's easier to make a figure with a giant rug on him than it is to make a figure in armor. So we'll see. It looks cool, but I don't see many people really caring. Speaking of figures that... Okay, so you guys know I didn't review this movie, and so I'm not going to get into it too much, but how many people, other than ironically, want a figure of Fat Thor, who is like the worst part of the entire MCU short of Captain Marvel? Like, to me, it's insulting to the fan base, rather than making a figure of Viking Thor at the end with the braids and everything. They made the dude Thor. And then they didn't even, like, he's a ginger. He's not a ginger in the movie. Why is he a ginger here in the figure? I'm guessing a lot of people are going to want it to make funny poses and funny photos and stuff, but like, how about a good Thor, a cool Thor, a badass Thor with Mjolnir and Stormbreaker, Stormcaller, Storm Chaser? That's the weather people. Whatever. Like I said, I can't remember names. But I don't know. Like, it looks fine, I guess, other than the ginger hair, but why don't we have a cool Thor figure? That's what I want. And then we have the Mark 85, which looks bad in this photo, but I think it looks better in the other ones, so that's okay. It should be alright. It looks like it's going to reuse a lot of parts, but it should be okay. Moving on. We also have what appears to be a phasing Vision, and I guess that's okay. The likeness is terrible, but phasing is cool. Translucent plastic is cool, so if you guys want that, you should be pretty pleased. Alright, that's enough Marvel Legends. Let's talk about a few more things and call it a wrap. These weren't necessarily shown at San Diego. I'm not sure if they were, but they did show up at about the same time. They are already up for pre-order at Big Bad Toy Store, by the way. Link in the description below. We have Fat Batman from Mafex, and I am psyched. And this photo shows that it should be fairly posable and fairly accurate. We do have some photos where the knees look kind of janky and stuff, but I presume that's just because they're kind of like paint masters and they're not all actually articulated properly. But it looks really, really good, and it appears to have a cloth cape, which looks good. So very, very excited about that. We are also getting a look at the Miles Morales from the Spider-Verse movie, and I think the clothing looks pretty terrible here. So, I mean, it almost always does on this scale, and this figure is going to be fairly slender, so the clothing's going to look even more poofy. If you're into clothing, this looks alright, but as far as I'm concerned, it's a pass for the clothing. But the spider suit itself looks really good. He is really skinny and cartoon proportioned, so I don't know how many people are going to be into that unless you really like Miles, but the suit looks great, so that's kind of cool. And then the last thing I want to talk about very quickly is they're reissuing their regular Spider-Man, but in a comic-style paint job, which looks great on the blue as far as I'm concerned. But the red just looks like it's faded, so I'm not really digging that. I'm going to get it and review it, but I want to know what you guys think. What do you think about that red? It looks like there's just too much pink and white. I'm not into that. The blue looks cool. Also, the blue has like definitive lines. You can see the shades go from one to the other with a clean line, whereas the red just seems to be shaded pale, and I don't think that looks great, but let me know what you guys think. Alright guys, that's all I want to talk about for San Diego Comic-Con and other things that got released or shown just thereabout. And I think there's a lot of good stuff. If I had to pick a company to win Toy Fair, that's not what we're doing, this is San Diego. If I had to pick a company to win San Diego Comic-Con this year as far as new reveals, it was kind of a light year, but I'm going to go with Hasbro again. Like, they did Toy Fair, and now they're doing Comic-Con. They're coming up with enough releases that are things that people want, that they're doing a good job. This, like I said, it was a kind of a light year. NECA didn't show a ton of stuff. Bandai showed almost nothing. Mattel showed a bunch of crap. So yeah, I mean, love them or hate them, Hasbro has at least a steady release schedule and a lot of stuff coming out. So even if you only buy a quarter of their stuff, you're gonna have plenty of stuff to buy. So I guess that's a good thing if you're into that sort of thing. I just wish they were more consistently good things to buy, but whatever. Let me know what you guys liked in this video, and then what you liked overall between the two videos as far as new reveals. And if I didn't show it, let me know which one you liked that I didn't show, because maybe I didn't see it, or maybe I just didn't care, but I should look into it more because you liked it. I don't know. But let's go ahead and talk about it in the comment section below, and that'll do it, guys. So thanks for watching. You might want to subscribe if you haven't already. I've got new videos up just about every single day, so make sure you come back for that. And in the meantime,